Need some fresh ideas for spring menu planning? Well, this video's for you. I'm Amy from the blog Our Amiable Farmhouse. Today I'm going to talk about how I keep things fresh in the spring with some ideas for menu planning. If you're stuck in a rut and thinking, what am I going to make for dinner tonight? I've got some ideas for you to get out of that rut. So this past summer I shared my simple summer menu planning, and this kind of follows the same idea, but I incorporate what's in season during the spring. So what's growing in your area. You can also do a quick Google search for the area of the country that you live in, or perhaps the world if you're watching from outside the US, and you can just see in the springtime what is in season for your area. In my area, the Pacific Northwest, we tend to have greens like spinach and kale, asparagus, peas, and lots of greens. So I try to incorporate more of those in our meal planning. Let's just get into how I go about, figuring out what's for dinner each night. So what I like to do is give each day a theme. Well, more like each night. Monday through Sunday has a theme so that I don't wonder, okay, it's Tuesday, what am I gonna make for dinner? I have no idea. This just helps me keep on track and gives me a few ideas to keep it not so monotonous every night of the week. And I like to kind of rotate through our favorites. So with each theme, I think of 3 to 4 of our family's favorites that go with that theme, and then I can just cycle through that, and then we don't feel like we're having the same thing each week, unless of course we really like it and we keep eating it each week. So on Mondays, it's a typical either Instant Pot night or salads. And in the spring, salads, you really start wanting to eat those more often because the weather is starting to change. It's starting to get a little bit warmer outside and the sun is shining, and you just feel like some fresh greenery on your table. So for salads, you can think of like a wedge salad, which is really simple. It kind of just break open a head of lettuce into wedge size and just fills up the whole plate, and you can drizzle it with whatever kind of dressing you want. Maybe crumble some bacon and maybe some dried fruit, spice it up a little, however you want to serve it. Maybe even with boiled eggs, and that is a super simple, fast, and it's springtime, so those eggs are more abundant, especially if you have chickens in your backyard. They're starting to really produce again, and so eggs, eggs, eggs. We've got eggs coming out our ears. So it's a great time to use them up and eat more eggs in your diet. Thai salad wraps, you can get some greens in that. Spice it up with different flavorings of Thai, or maybe Oriental spices, or Mediterranean, however you want to fix up a wrap with lots of lettuce or cabbage, or getting those greens in there. Along the Instant Pot line, think Sloppy Joes, maybe a nice spring inspired soup where you've got some broccoli or cauliflower in it. You could do a nice Italian bean with some kale. There's also pulled barbecue meat in the Instant Pot. That's always fun. Make a Sloppy Joe. So there's a few ideas for Monday. Now Tuesday is traditionally either Taco Tuesday or Tuscan Tuesday, depending on if we feel like Mexican or Italian food. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. You could do tacos, burrito bowls, a taco salad, getting some more of those greens in. You could do a nice Italian pasta salad, or a lasagna with kale. If you've got zucchini in your area, you could do a nice lasagna with zucchini sliced really thin instead of noodles. That's always good. Moving on to Wednesday, that's traditionally Wacky Wednesday in our house, which means Brinner, or breakfast for dinner. Or sometimes we've been known to have ice cream sundaes, but that is really rare and very wacky. if we do that, I try to make it as healthy as possible, maybe doing like a trim healthy type of ice cream where it's sugar-free, or we can just splurge and have a homemade ice cream that actually contains honey or maple syrup, or maybe even some sucanat sugar. Thursday night is traditionally in our house a skillet or sheet pan night. I love me a good cast iron skillet because you can just throw stuff in there, maybe top it with a cornbread topping or a sourdough topping where you're just pulling your sourdough starter out of the fridge, adding some eggs and maybe some herbs, some salt, a little bit of leavening agent like baking soda or baking powder, and voila, instant meal. It's also another way to use up your eggs and greens by making a frittata or a quiche, which in my house, quiches and frittatas, I don't know, they're interchangeable because we don't use a lot of dairy. I make my own cashew milk, so the dairy to egg ratio, that's the difference between a frittata and a quiche. Like quiche traditionally has a crust and a lot more dairy than egg, a 2-to-1 ratio in fact. And then frittatas are crustless and have more eggs and less dairy. So either way, frittata, ciabatta, quiche, miche, you know, it's all potato. It's all the same to me and my family. And then a sheet pan meal, that's super easy. You can throw on some fish or some sliced steak or drumsticks, season it up however you want. Throw on a starch of potato or maybe a root vegetable and some greens even, and roast it all up in the oven. Could not be simpler. Friday night is always pizza night here, so that's pretty self-explanatory. I just whip up a crust with my starter, or I might actually pull out the big guns and do a traditional dough that's been kneaded and then rolled out for a pizza crust. Saturday is grill night. You can grill up some burgers or some hot dogs, bratwurst, rotate each week, maybe some steaks. That's pretty easy, pretty quick, and a great weekend dinner. And also, it's fun to grill cabbage wedges or cabbage thickly sliced and grill that up on the grill and add a nice salad, some more greens, and maybe some strawberries for dessert. That's another thing that's in season in the spring. And on Sundays, if I feel like making a big roast dinner with all the trimmings, I might just do that. Or we might just say mom's night off and we'll just do popcorn and smoothies or smoothie bowls. And that's always pretty simple and the kids think it's great. There you have it. Simple meal planning gives you some fresh ideas for spring. If you'd like to get your copy, you'll find the link to my blog post below and just enter in your email address and I'll shoot that instant download right on over to you. Well, thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse today. I hope you enjoyed today's short video on fresh ideas for spring menu. If you're new to my channel, glad to have you here. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified each week I bring a new video on simple food, simple living, and simply handmade. Thanks so much for stopping by our amiable farmhouse. We'll see you next time.